give or take, it's like about 1 in every 5 games it's banned.
Okay.
It disappears every now and again.
Excellent. But here we go. Malfurion banned out first for SPT. Now the response in BTG, what are they looking to ban? You know, something like Medivh banned frequently, Garrosh perhaps, Stukov maybe. We will have to find out, but it is the Medivh as the hover likely going to be the ban. But do they want to remove all cheese potential?
Lost Viking being hovered. I mean, it's SPT, Melody C. If there's anyone who could play a Lost Vikings, it would be him. But the Medivh would be so good. SPT have been reliably running it consistently with either Melody C or Molly. It's basically the one hero after they swapped Molly off of Raged Assassin onto Flex that he was able to play really consistently and win with. So the Vikings over that would be so crazy. There we go. Back to Medivh.
I think Medivh is probably smarter. You know, Vikings, while they have their place in some games, I actually really think that there's so many responses in the draft now that can just dominate the Vikings. And Garrosh, first pick for SPT, already just right out of the gates ready with one of these primary pick heroes. I love this.
Yeah, 0 chills, straight to the Garrosh. He is one of the highest priority, probably the highest priority tank at least, in HGC China and across quite a few of the other regions as well. But
this is
Stukov,
right?
To this? We haven't seen much Tychus to deal with it. Stukov, I'd say so. Stukov's with something else.
Probably. Hanzo also is a pretty good response into the Garrosh. We saw a lot of Stukov coming out early into the draft phases last series, but it's actually, okay, Malthael and the Stukov, so there is the pickup to, you know, it makes sense, you know, Malthael to respond to the Garrosh, Stukov just for the power pick. Love what BTG have done so far.
It's a good start. Very good start indeed. Gives them a little bit of extra pressure. And a little bit of pressure, a lot of control already at the start of this draft, which is going to be needed against that Garrosh. So, what is the follow-up for SPT here? Once again, they are the only team really in HGC China that feels comfortable running the Blaze. So if they want a solid solo laner, that could be an option here. Dahaka, though, could also fill in, but it's going to struggle against the Malthael.
So SPT taking their time on their picks. Lots of strong picks open. You know, you've got Hanzo, you've got Genji, you've got Junkrat, you've got... there you go. Okay, Junkrat coming through. Same with the Maiev. I love these two pickups as well. Junkrat, we've seen a lot of emphasis from these teams during the earlier stages of this game. We saw Junkrat very frequently last series. SPT with a strong opener, but BTG not out of not out of discussion when it comes to the opening of their draft.
Yeah. SPT currently 2 and 3 with Maiev, so pretty reasonable, close to 50%. So they might be able to make something happen with this, and of course the Junkrat as the follow-up. Junkrat's super high up in terms of assassins for every team, also sitting on 40% win rate, ironically. But BTG now with bans. You already have Maiev, they have Garrosh, they have everything except the support, so perhaps targeting down, seeing as Malfurion's already banned out, targeting down another support might be the name of the game. Definitely
a possibility. Zeratul, Sonya, both being considered for BTG. But again, I find it so weird where you have, like, the Zeratul with the Maiev. Like, I guess it totally does work. I mean, we've seen how well Zeratul works with these teams. So Zeratul just being banned out. You know, Stukov can be dove very easily by that hero. I like the fact that they banned out the Zeratul. Yeah. Just remove these trump card potentials from SPT. But they've got Garrosh, they've got Maiev, they got this Junkrat. Lots of big picks for SPT. What is this ban?
Probably, if I had to guess, probably something like a Genji, just removing a little bit of wildcard potential, or a solid tank, someone who is going to be able to duel against the Garrosh a little bit, or survive the toss-in. So something like that is where I'm leaning. Yeah, something Genji, Hanzo, or a tank for sure. That's what it looks like to me as well. Nothing really that super shuts down the likes of... okay, I was just going to say the only thing that really shuts down the members of SPT is a Diablo against the Junkrat. So I like the fact that Diablo gets banned out here. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. And of course, Diablo challenges Garrosh as well, especially later on in the game. You know, can threaten even one-shots, basically, with a little bit of extra damage against the Garrosh. So I love that ban. It makes the most sense to me. I would agree. It works really, really well. Of course, Warden's Cage into the Apocalypse would have been nice on their side, but they already have Garrosh themselves, so you're not going to see that. So you might as well remove it from the enemy team instead. So BTG, their options for tanks begin to whittle down a little bit, but they still have so many. ETC, Muradin. In terms of unstoppables, they still have Johanna, so potentially Iron Skin to break out of the Warden's Cage could still be an option.
Tyrael.
But they would be struggling there because they don't have the counter poke potential with Junkrat already being on the other team.
Yeah, I agree. Lots of warriors open at this point for BTG. Likely, I would say that they pick up like a Hanzo or something as well. Yeah. But they go with the variant. So you've been mentioning this hero quite frequently so far. This is the first time we've seen it this evening, but the early power that this hero provides, getting that taunt now at level 4 instead, which is likely going to be the pickup, let's be completely honest. And then Tychus as well, to challenge that huge health pool that Garrosh brings to the table. I actually like these 2 pickups for BTG.
And right now, there's not a huge amount of burst damage to block with a shield wall. In theory, they could actually go with a Juggernaut build with the Warbringer, just a full cooldown reduction percentage damage to deal with Garrosh even more. Yeah, lots of threat potential against this Garrosh, so BTG just willing to give that one up as the first pick, you know, not banning it, banning the Medivh instead, and just building around it, you know, challenging this Garrosh, and Stukov works well against Garrosh too. So I like that they're doing this, kind of like forcing the burden of execution onto SPT, but now support needing to be picked up for SPT. It could be, what do we got here? We got Lucio, we got Uther, Rehgar, yeah, so it's... Oh! Ariel! Greetings. What? Solo Ariel. We've seen a fair amount of Ariel. She's actually popped into most of the... to Europe, especially, several times now. But it's always been with a Kharazim, pretty much, and pretty much only on Battlefield. So seeing this on Sky as a solo support is kind of mind-blowing. Exactly, that makes a lot of sense on BOE just because of the race potential of the Kharazim. He's like not even a support at that point. Yeah, you know, and then you have the sustain from Ariel, but this is an Ariel with a Junkrat as your main, or a Maiev as a main generator of hope. Yes, of course, there's the Sonya, but she's going to be the offlaner of the draft for SPT, so sitting in that offlane frequently. BTG now, you know, I actually like what BTG have against this Ariel, but what is their last pickup? It could be a mage, likely not going to go anything tankier. I think it's going to be, you know, it could be like a Li Ming, it could be a... Taunt Chromie? It could be a Chromie, yeah, exactly. I would expect a mage here for sure. Let's see what BTG got. And... Alarak, that's bursty. Yep. It is bursty and spell damage, but not what we were thinking. No, I'm thinking more along the lines of ranged, but it satisfies the same condition. It allows you to blow up your opponents when you need that burst to come through. So BTG with a very like high volatility draft. You've got that taunt, likely going to be the last rites as well. You've got the Alarak combination. So they're coming out in this game one just guns a-blazing. I like to think of this BTG draft as kind of like trying to break any kind of land speed record. You're either going to just absolutely crush it and do super well, or it's going to be an absolute raging inferno. Yeah. And right now, on this map, it is in the Alarak. You see it so rarely. Battlefield, you see it a fair amount, and maybe a little bit on Volskaya. But on this map, I just don't know what to think about it, other than the fact that Silence is great against Garrosh, great against Sonya, fantastic against Maiev. Ariel, if you get near Ariel, then of course you're going to have a good time. But it's such a weird pick, but I kind of dig it. BTG have to snowball the early game. That's basically the play here. You know, they have the taunt. That gives hit confirmation to the Alarak for his combo. So they need to snowball during the early game. And then, of course, there's also the Crystal Aegis gives hit confirm to Alarak too. You know, you Aegis someone, and then he can just use his combo right off the Aegis. So a lot of synergies there for BTG. We'll see how they use this this combo here, heading into game number 1. And spawning on the left-hand side, fresh off a victory, it's Beyond the Game, with 619 on Varian, LLK on Alarak, Druid on Stukov, Dancing on Tychus, and Lai bringing out the Malthael. And on the right, in red, is Super Perfect Team. We got SPT, it's Molly on the Sonya, Melody C playing the Junkrat, Misaka on Garrosh, we got Soap on that Maiev, and we got ZZH on Ariel. Alright, an RPG spray. SPT giving a little bit of respect to their fallen comrades. as BTG just came off the victory. Nicest memento starting off for the Maiev here, and a little bit of a Lion's Maw here for varying, so potentially a solo lane variant here.
Interesting first pickup for sure, but they've got the Malthael, they've got Alarak, both heroes that can at least, you know, do decently in the solo. But we'll see what they end up doing here. SPT stepping up onto this mid wave, just getting some hope generated, trying to get control over this rotation, and there we go. We see the Malthael and Sonya represented top.
Yeah, standard solo laning here. So Varian just going to be using his Q for poke damage and for extra sustain, spamming it out that way. It's also just the safest level 1 talent. High King's Quest against a Garrosh seems like a recipe for disaster. Overpower is pretty decent, so the shield could have, the shield wall style could have been good. This is kind of a show, though, that perhaps he might plan on going for that Warbringer.
And again, we mentioned it, BTG need to look at snowballing the early game 619, getting flipped in by Misaka. Misaka stepping up and saying, you know, kneel before me, sort of thing. But BTG rotating down bottom, they're going to pick up their siege camp, and so far we've seen BTG actually do very well during the early stages of Sky Temple. We'll see if they dominate this rotation immediately onto siege, so they're starting out before their opponents, and SPT with the response of picking up their bruiser camp first. Last time we saw this sort of trade happen, the red team actually ended up losing the trade, and here we go, SPT holding just for a moment while Maiev backs and gets some health. I love what SPT are doing.
Same. They are going to cap theirs now that they have everyone back in lanes again. Also, just quickly, your Garrosh impression is the politest I've ever heard.
Excuse me,
kneel
sir.
before me and such.
Would it be possible for you to kneel before me, please and thank you? There you go.
How Canadian, as we see Soap cleaning out the Siege Giant camp for his own team here, even using Spirit of Vengeance for the extra clear speed.
That was an epic pun. Soap cleaning it out. I love it. Okay, so SPT with Sonya pushing topside, but now they have capped their bruiser camp, so the tempo is going to be in their favor for sure. Malthael is going to be able to clear this one out. Just huge clear potential from BTG. Siege camp picked up for SPT, so SPT actually have to rotate up top in order to clear this one out, because you know, BTG are going to be able to get a lot done on this front wall. Level 4 is here too, so taunt is available.
Exactly, and now we have BTG with the blow-up potential. They have the opportunity for forcing people up here. They now have the chance to grab someone with that taunt if anyone steps out of position. And with the silence, they have to if they really want to clear. You can see Sonya desperately wants to whirlwind this, but is stuck just autoing due to that silence of Stukov. Finally, it looks like this push is going to end. The top tower not even taking any damage, so there was no way they could have really stayed there. LOK also getting a little bit punished by Soap.
Yeah, SPT actually responded to this early game of BTG very, very well. There goes the taunt on Misaka, but nothing further. Tyke is trying to get some damage in. The toss in onto 619, but able to walk away to safety. Misaka definitely taking more of the trade there, but you're against you have a resourceless support on your side. So as long as that Ariel can find the hope, she can heal up that the Garrosh, no problem.
I see Molly from SPT starting on that top objective, whereas BTG very highly controlling of that bottom temple here to try and gain those shots. Now, generally, top is slightly more value in general due to the fact that it sets up for bruiser camps, but mid can be excellent as well due to the fact that it opens up. It's still opening up a lane. It makes rotations a lot harder, especially around that boss area.
Yeah, here comes Varian topside too, looking for the taunt onto Sonya. Has to be very, very cautious. And here we go, Molly stepping up too far, and first blood going over to BTG with the excellent rotation top lane, taking advantage of that taunt.
Interesting even seeing Molly on this hero, due to the fact that once again, he used to be a ranged carry. But due to the fact they went for double melee, Soap, who is the usual melee flex player, going on that Maiev, Molly is forced onto this Sonya. It's just cool to see him play it for starters, but already giving up the first blood to BTG.
BTG, they've got about half level lead here. Bit of a structural advance for them too. And just looking at clearing out this mid wave, trying to take control of rotations now. They have that taunt, so they have to be very, very cautious. Soap going in a 1v3 scenario, but here comes the rest of SPT. Can they turn this one around?
The Stukov silence is just so good. Chasing down Soap, but the into the fray by Garrosh. Coming in for the rescue. Good job, Misaka. But very nice positioning by BTG. That could have easily gone the other way.
Yeah, that looked like an ambitious trade for the Maiev, but ends up getting away to safety. Now Melody C just looking at clearing out this wave, you know, playing safely here against this taunt, so you can't step up too far as the Junkrat, or you will be a dead rat indeed. But there goes the combo onto Misaka, so LLK looking to, you know, just try to further his team's advance here, trying to do more with their early game, because once level 10's hit, you know, Varian starts to lose a little bit of value. You know, he's obviously very strong through, you know, most of the game, but his huge opportunity is between the 4 and 10 mark when he gets the taunt.
And speaking of LLK, we should talk about his build, Extended Lightning and the negatively charged here, going with that full Lightning, making it so he doesn't have to get too close to that Garrosh, putting himself in danger. Even Applied Force, which is the standard talent, to be fair, the extra push range, which allows you to set up combos a little bit easier. And of course, push people into the Silk of Silence, which is always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here we go. 10's coming in very soon for BTG. Likely... I think it's Shove. It looks like Shove to me, but it's Flail. You know, Flail actually just seems way more common in this region. We've gone over, you know, thoughts on that one. But BTG, with their 10, immediately invade the enemy Bruiser Camp. You're talking about how powerful the Bruiser Camp is during the second, basically, Temple phase, because it's so far away from top lane. And I love the fact that BTG take their 10 advantage and they just take that potential away from SPT.
Junkrat could actually delay it with his concussion mine. Very clever here, buys his team time, because now Garrosh is actually going to get a couple free shots just due to the slowing of the rotation of BTG. I'm a big fan of that, as now both teams have level 10. We do still see shield wall, so full tankiness coming in here for Varian, not taking the risky play of going for that full percentage damage against the Garrosh.
Okay, so we've got top being pushed for BTG a little bit with that Bruiser Camp. It's going to be cleared out very soon, but... here we go. Here comes the fight. There goes the Riptar and the immediate kill onto Tychus.
Making it look easy. There's the counter taunt onto Garrosh. Not the best target. Shield wall is down, and 619, he will actually be punished for this. He's got a little bit too greedy, and SPT, they pick up a double kill here, and well, this temple's theirs now.
Yeah, that was an absolutely huge play by Junkrat, securing that first kill and then picking up the consolation prize, the mine, to boop Varian into further danger, picking up the second kill there. So SPT, they really come online with this level 10. And you know, we were talking about the strength of BTG during the 4 to 10, but as soon as 10s come in, SPT's team fighting composition is huge. It's going to be interesting to see how Ariel and Sonya play together, because if the Crystal Aegis comes out while Sonya's spinning, you know, it cancels that sort of thing. So there's a little bit of counter synergy there, but just seeing Ariel in general is so interesting to me.
So far, we're not seeing the value other than the fact that it's kind of resources, but then again, Lucio could have been a thing.
Yeah.
I guess it's just to stop the single target blow up from Varian. That's all I can think about. Other than that, the value from it isn't becoming immediately apparent to me, but so far it's working because the fights have been very quick.
And we'll see if the hero ends up being valuable for SPT, but there goes the taunt that we were talking about. Ooh, Junkrat. We were saying, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful of this taunt, and there we go.
Now, Last Rites was applied. Even though it doesn't get the last hit because of the changes to it, it now does still gain the stack from that. So still value for BTG. Unfortunately, that does mean it's now on cooldown. Oh, that's unfortunate. Detainment Strike is wonderful and gets swept. It actually technically died to the tower, but that's still a kill for SPT.
Feels good if you are SPT. You know, you flip in that Variant, and ZZH putting Variant to sleep with that Detainment Strike. So nice job by SPT taking that kill bottom side. Level 13 is now available for them. So just a little bit ahead in this game, and they're going to take that advantage and look for an invade here.
Going very aggressively forward.
Okay.
Misaka wants to try and get the Alarak. Interesting target to toss in here. Flaming Swipe is used. Where is the counter-strike here? Because it might have to be used if it's off cooldown. Getting focused. Warden's Cage is good. And SPT, another kill coming in for them at this stage.
Yeah, and Taunt, I think, was not available there, but it didn't need to come out. So nice job by SPT invading with their 13s and finding that one pickup. Here comes the toss and the Detainment Strike onto Variant. He's in a lot of trouble.
He was thrown into the boss stun, but the Stuck-Off Silence could be saving Variant. The Aegis this time was super good. Double taunt. The boss has been abandoned, as it's all about this fight now. Last Rites gets whiffed, so putting his body over Misaka's to block that Last Rites, forcing the misclick.
And SPT, they just end up backing up off of everything. Molly onto the bottom temple immediately, but BTG, they're not going to let SPT take everything here. They're rotating down, and yeah, there we go. Immediately off of the temple is SPT, so they're respecting their opponents because 13s have just come through for BTG. And let's be honest, BTG have not found a a true team fight. You know, last fight that we saw bottom side, Tychus got immediately deleted before even the Odin got any value. So BTG, they want to try to find one of these team fights.
They would love to, but right now SPT, they ain't having it. They back up. Junkrat rotates to top lane via Ripper Air, get there even faster, as they are able to, as SPT, clean out this middle temple, at least for the moment. Soap scouting with Spirit of Vengeance, Misaka just waiting, biding his time. Molly right now just gaining all the edges. He's the only one hitting something, so good choice for ZZH.
I like Junkrat just immediately rotating up top with the Ripper Air, just getting value out of that talent, clearing the wave, forcing Alarak to go top, and actually get the fort off of everything, obviously because the temple control, but still. Nice job by SPT picking up just additional pressure on the map. Ooh, two-person, and here comes a fight.
Nice Odin to block the Umbral bind, backing out. Riptide is pretty decent, not enough damage though, as we see Soap pulling back as he's getting focused down. The flaming swipe's good for at least a little bit of disengage. Misaka's dropped low, but he's tanking through. Shots taken into the fray to save Soap as the target moves onto Garrosh with nowhere to go. Gives his life for his allies, but with Sonya already down, the kill is acquired. Lightning not enough to kill Soap. BTG, they win that fight, but they lose the shots.
Chinese team fights are actually so interesting to me. On the bottom side of that fight, we saw the 1v1 between Malthael and Sonya, and that's all it was. You know, they could have been in the team fight together, but they just challenged each other. They're like, no, this is our solo lane matchup. We are fighting, and that's all it was, you know, and they actually ended up trading 1-for-1 almost identically, so very interesting fight there. But BTG, they find their way into this game. Yes, 16 here for SPT, but BTG immediately onto this boss. They want to pick this up. Yes, it can get some keep wall damage bottom side, and BTG, they're going to be able to pick up all of this soak across the map and be very well in this game. Yes, SPT are ahead structurally, but BTG are feeling fantastic off of that engagement.
They absolutely should be. They did that really, really well here. By the way, Varian did still go for Juggernaut, despite not going for the Warbringer here. So just little bits of it, of percentage burst damage as opposed to consistent spamming of it. Still with the extra safety as well. Now SPT just all in onto the boss, just burn that down. We're seeing as there's no one pushing with it. There's nothing else on the map really value gaining. Mid fort's going to die eventually because it's made of paper mache at this point. So they're happy to just let that one go.
Yeah, BTG, they recognize that all members of SPT are bottom side, so they push in. Oh man, look at mid. They push in mid, they don't quite get it, and LLK actually stepping up, trying to get it, but hey, you've got to be careful because those are such like baiting structures, you know, and SPT, they're all positioned for it. Yes, Sonya is showing bottom, but so is Malthael top, so they would get an honest 4v4 there.
There we go. Zapping it down. Top four's a little bit low as well, but that one's healthy enough that they don't have to focus on it. However, with this mercenary camp, it becomes a little bit harder. Garrosh and Maya finally moving in. This 4 will barely survive thanks to the extra damage from Junkrat.
BTG, they got their 16s now. They're invading enemy siege camp, so that's going to be pushing bottom the entire time. Now, where do they go at this point? SPT, they're rotating down their Junkrat with that Ripper Air to clear out the siege camp, but SPT have to be cautious about stepping too far forward because then you're willingly stepping into a numbers disadvantage fight, and here we go. Immediate rotation out. Smart play by SPT, likely clearing mid and then going to sit on this bottom temple, but BTG, that means they have all of top lane completely free, and they step up and start getting structure damage.
Yeah, they're doing well. BTG starting to assert their dominance in this map and putting the pressure onto multiple lanes with top lane already opened up. Once again, it's the Bruiser lane, so that is a huge deal. Bot lane and top lane on this map, definitely the go-tos. Bruiser lane / Siege Giant and Boss lane, which is quite fun. But let's see, BTG, they already are taking shots here, but they still move down for the XP in mid lane, or perhaps just for timing the Bruiser. Siege Giant, sorry.
This is a very even game. Like, very even. SPT control over this bottom temple. Malthael is top-ish for BTG. But yeah, SPT are allowed to step up on this one. But here comes Malthael. So likely we're going to see a fight breaking out pretty soon. We have to watch for these 2 taunts from these warriors looking at the engagements. Yeah,
he's Malthael ditching the last couple shots in exchange for this team fight. Despite the big on even levels, the aggression is huge. Wow, that silence though. Riptide comes in, gets crazy value. The LLK was able to drop it with a counter-strike though, against a good damage himself, finally getting taken out with Molly in the backline, doing huge damage. Lai goes down, it's a 4 versus 3. Varian, focus, no more shield walls available. Dancing and Druid pulling back, an SPT punishing the insolence of BTG, thinking they can come down and fight them on even levels. What silliness is this?
ZZH finding a fantastic, right there, the Crystal Aegis just to stop everything from coming through, the damage. Masaka then getting healed, stays alive the entire time. Look at the last rise. Yes, it picks up, but LHY had to step in so far in order to get that and ends up trading the kill there. So not worth it is the trade, and BTG end up losing that one, and they go down a keep because of it. So SPT just dominating that team fight.
Final shots from top lane, though, were taken. Druid was able to sneak up there and gain the shots, and as such, did actually do a little bit of damage to top keep of SPT, but it's damage on a keep versus a keep.
Yeah.
One of them is a little bit more valued than the other, and as such, SPT gonna hit their level 20 in rapid succession.
And any time on Sky Temple that you actually get to step up as heroes and take structures, you put yourself into such a huge advantage because the main objective of the map just targets structures. So the further you get to be ahead, just like raw damage onto structures, you can end up trading those temples and just come out so far ahead of your opponents. So yeah, SPT, they gained so much off of that trade. Yes, now they are level 20, and their opponent's not quite there yet, holding on to this top bruiser camp, but likely we would see SPT invade something at this point, but there's nothing really on the map.
Titanic might for the Garrosh here. That double throw, everyone in the Warden's Cage, please. And the Shield of Hope for Ariel. For starters, it's the go-to talent. It's just super good. But second, it stacks super well with Garrosh. All shields on Garrosh gain extra value thanks to his armor. And for third, well, the other options are Fly or the extra armor coming out of Aegis, which that one's not so bad.
Boss spawning 5 seconds here. 20s available for SPT. Do BTG just give this one up? This is going to go bot lane completely. SPT, they cap their bruisers, and BTG not willing to fight into this 20 advantage of SPT. And I think this is wise, but this is so huge for SPT. It's going to be pushing bottom lane. BTG have to, exactly, and BTG have to represent members bottom in order to de-push this boss. And that means that they get the objective for free at this point. So huge plays from SPT.
Well, don't even need to do the objective. They're going to push with this.
They're going in.
Starters, they already have Siege Giants down here. They have Catapults down here. This could be a death push. For second, they took a Bruiser camp up in top lane. Maiev was able to grab that. So even if they don't end the game with this, the value they will get on top keep is going to be insane and well worth this push.
Yep, Odin coming out early, and at that point, SPT have to be cautious. This is big red button, folks. Look at this siege potential of this hero already. Everything aside from the boss being de-pushed by dancing, and SPT, they're not sure what they want to do here. Now they start stepping in. Here comes the Riptide.
Moving in, flailing swipe for the turnaround. A great blower, but not enough for a kill. Garrosh getting focused down. Shield of Hope not landing on him. That's kind of bad news. The Aegis, though, keeps him alive. Misaka getting stuck in, but gets taken out by the last rights. And Tychus in the backline was able to kill off the Ariel. It's almost a full team wipe here. Junkrat's just sieging him from the back. Molly is going to go down. The boss falls 50% on the core as we see Junkrat fleeing for his life here. He is the last surviving member, but he's crazy disruption. He will prevent a counter end game scenario, and like we said, great value from this Bruiser camp on top keep. It might even get the kill. Go, minions,
oh, it does. Yep, it absolutely does. So even though SPT, oh man, this is just a huge moment for SPT. Even though they didn't end the game there, and they certainly had the tools to do so, I actually think that they misplayed that rush a little bit. But so even though they misplayed that one, they've opened up a keep and 50% damage onto the core. So next objective or two can likely just end the game for SPT. But now they're on completely even footing here. You know, they don't have this insane push bottom. They don't have this insane push top. So BTG are also very well in this game.
Yes, they are. With these shots, middle keep gonna go down, but that's still gonna be, actually, it's gonna be close. Ooh, not enough. A couple more shots would have got it, but not enough. And as such, SPT, now they're in a good position. 2 keeps down, 50% on the core, 51 plus shield. SPT are pretty good. And look at this. Look at how safe they're willing to play here. They have no reason to come out their base. There's nothing on the map.
Exactly.
Just let the mercenaries push up to them. Don't get picked off by Varian, and you're going to have a pretty decent time.
Mature play for sure. But we have to talk about the fact that if they're willing to play like this, oh, here we go, the taunt going in over onto Masaka. He's in a lot of trouble with the Crystal Aegis.
The Aegis is good. Can they save him? Where's the Shield of Hope? Great Shield of Hope on Varian. tire gets killed off. It does not explode. As Misaka dropping solo finally saves himself thanks to the Groundbreaker at the level 1. Pulling back. ZZH in serious danger. He is the target. He can't even heal Misaka. Lightning finally finishes him off as the shield expires. There's the pullback by the Alarak. If they can get the kill, this could be huge. Down goes Ariel. It's a 3 versus 5 defense. But Molly pulled in. That's it. They get the kill. Mid-keep is low. They're going straight for Korkala.
And I wanted to, we can talk about this after, so this is too exciting. So needs to try to make a play. Here comes the Warden's Cage, but the taunt goes out and goes down. BTG with the counter engagement here on the enemy siege camp. They pick up 4 kills, and now they have their sights set on the core. BTG with the huge turnaround in this game will be picking up game 1 in this best of 5 series. Absolutely incredible endgame.
Junkrat reigns in the pain, but he is all alone. That is GG. And like you said, crazy turnaround. BTG taking game number 1.
Okay, so it starts, the slippery slope of that game starts with the failed core attempt. I really think that SPT had all of the tools available to themselves in order to make that core happen. I think we can agree on that one for sure, but they just misplayed it a little bit. Yes, big red button came out, but then they backed off of that immediately. They actually had to force the members of BTG back even further so that they could get some freedom there, but they were pushed so far back, and then free damage went on the boss, and then they fought reluctantly at the end, and you know, getting the core down to 50%, they basically did no heroic damage to that core. That was all the boss almost. And then the other big thing was the fact that they were willing to do that, which meant that then they were going to give their opponents a level 20 to 20 fight. So the game was completely open. If BTG ever get a 20 to 20 fight and they win, they just end the game, which is exactly what we saw. So SPT, they had to end the game off that core push, or they had to not do it at all.
I mean, they got top keep. If they hadn't all died at the end there, it would have still been great value. So it would have still given them much control for the next objective. I can see the logic behind it. But the fact is that they lost so many and gave their opponents so much comeback XP is kind of a big deal.
I agree, and that's why I say either just do it or don't do it at all. Maybe they could have even just like said one person, maybe even just Junkrat top to do some damage onto the keep, and then that way they would have gotten the keep off of it, which is basically exactly what they wanted, and then not died at all, so no comeback XP. So that would have probably been the optimal play for SPT at that point. But BTG, they weaseled their way back into the game. They find those team fights, and man, that... I actually really liked the Alarak pick there. It seemed to put a lot of pressure onto the Ariel. You know, maybe not the most value throughout the early stages of the game, but we saw pick up during the later, and that's all that really mattered there.
Really was indeed. So, game number 1, going over to BTG. After a victory over RPG, this is good. It's definitely encouraging for them after that loss on Sky Temple when they were in a similar situation to SPT, in fact. So, good to see by them. For the first victory in this series. 2 games away from going into the match versus the 1 to decide maybe who can move on to the final 2, which will be a guaranteed mid-season brawl position.
And we got MVP coming in. Actually, there we go. LLK on the Alarak, which, you know, even though KDA wasn't insane or anything like that, I actually do think this was well warranted, setting up a lot of kills during the later stages of the game, and of course, just forcing out the Aegis. You know, that's I have to say that that's got to be a reason why, you know, they run this hero, and it worked out very, very well. I liked BTG's comp. It was something you don't traditionally see. You know, you got the Mouthail and the Alarak, so it was really weird, but it worked out very well.
So now here's the question. Was Ariel the correct choice? Or could that have been done better by maybe a Lucio?
I think so.
Even a Rhaegar there.
Rhaegar, I would maybe be a little bit afraid of because of the touch of death potential, you know, against the Ancestral. True. So that could have been a bit of a problem. But you mentioned it multiple times, the Lucio, and I'm totally with you, man. It would have helped a lot. For sure. I think the Lucio just would have been better in general, but SPT, they show comfort on the Ariel, I'm sure, and they wanted to run the hero because, I don't know, it just looked best for them. So, but, you know, from our perspective, it looked like Lucio probably would have been better given those circumstances.
I would agree. But, unfortunately, they made their decision. And weren't able to make it work this time, but it's the best of 5. Plenty of time left for SPT to gain a recovery here and move themselves back into this series. Once again, winner of this plays against the 1, and that is the winning game to decide who goes to Mid-Season Brawl.
All right, let's move forward. Here we go. Infernal Shrines, picked for BTG, a map that we haven't had the pleasure of casting this evening.
Yeah, that's surprising, honestly, considering how popular of a map it is just in general. But that's what we have. That's what we have in general. Infernal Shrines coming in as the map, and it is going to be SPT with the first pick, as this was a BTG map choice.
Infernal Shrines, SPT first pick. What is the ban going to be? I think we can just both agree the fact that Medivh's not going to see any play. Perhaps in these series, just such a high power hero Medivh is. So I would expect him to be banned out in the first stages here. And then again, we've seen Garrosh, we've seen Stukov, we've seen Malfurions as the targets. But this is Shrines. Is there anything specific on this map that we could perhaps see banned out? This is Alex Strauss's map. Tychus is very strong on this map as well. So any of those sort of picks could be either picked up or removed in the first stages of this draft.
We see the Malfurion as first ban. That's interesting, because that means SPT, they weren't comfortable with that Ariel themselves, perhaps want to try and force themselves to get a Stukov. This could be the